Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headline. This is our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from Puerto Vallarta, from our state, Jalisco, from our country. We take a look at your questions, your ideas, your suggestions on how to have a nicely connected life here in Puerto Vallarta, connected with each other, connected with our city, and with our culture, with our way of life. It is always a pleasure to get together with you, particularly on days when last night I was having a wonderful day putting together things, and I realized today is going to be a lot of fun. At least I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. Today we have news about the city, and we have all kinds of interesting things to share. And we have two completely unrelated stories. I'm going to say that up front, but I thought they were fascinating and very intriguing, and that's why I'm bringing them to the broadcast. One of them has to do with what seems to be a seemingly bucolic 18th century painting, an actual masterpiece, is actually one of the filthiest, most erotic paintings out there. And the other one has to do with an influencer, with a content creator that behaved very badly, and how those stories keep me in check. But before we go there, again, today is Tuesday, August 16. A pleasure to see you all, and particularly those of you who have not been with us live before. If that fits your situation, please let us know. Let us know. Write the comment new. For example, I see someone who I don't recognize. Fernando Clement, or Clement Fernando, says, "Hola, hello, bonjour," and I love it. I don't recognize your name, but hey, thanks for saying hello. We really appreciate that. So write the word new if you are new to the live experience. Write the letter Q, capital Q, before your comment or question so that we can look for those Qs during the comment section at the end of the broadcast. Let's go. Well, another day, another announcement of more streets around Puerto Vallarta that get improved and paved, actually paved. Imagine that. Now we learned from our city government that a portion of 24 de Febrero Street in Colonia San Esteban has been improved. It now has hydraulic concrete along with new water network, new drain network, and public lighting. This is with a 3.8 million investment on behalf, or that was put together by the city. You're probably wondering, where is this colonia anyhow? And this colonia is all the way out there in the middle of, well, not in the middle of nowhere. I think those folks that are near Playa Grande might be offended, but it's over here. This would be San Esteban. And it's nice to see that things are being improved here and there throughout the city. We also learned about more details about the upcoming improvements on the pier in Boca de Tomatlan, south of Puerto Vallarta. 30 million pesos will be invested in the reconstruction of the Boca Pier. But the total pier project for the state of Jalisco, at least near Puerto Vallarta, involves 180 million pesos that also will be used to improve and, in some cases, rebuild the piers at Las Animas, Yelapa, Chimo, Punta Perula, and Quimixto. Again, it is nice to see how these improvements will hopefully make it even more attractive and easy for us to explore destinations south of Puerto Vallarta by boat. And how nice it would be, imagine, to be able to get all the way to Punta Perula by boat and have a nice, safe place to disembark. I think that would be absolutely wonderful. This fact is sobering. Roberto Ramos Vasquez, director of DIF Vallarta, has announced that they've tallied 250 homeless individuals, having gone through the city and looking for such individuals 5 times already during the year. And the challenge keeps increasing, as it does in any city that is increasing in size. DIF, the organization, tries to identify these homeless individuals, link them to their families, or find out if they have physical or mental problems, or even problems with the law elsewhere. The DIF director did say that it is important to discourage us, you and I, from giving to those people, particularly those that linger near restaurants or eateries, as this serves as an incentive for others to keep coming and begging. It also wouldn't be a day without an announcement from SEAPAL saying that they're closing streets for improvement. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's good to know that our waterworks company is actually working hard and constantly to improve our water network. And this time around, we learned that the streets surrounding downtown Pitillal, around the plaza, will be closed for pipe replacement and improvements until the following Wednesday. So if you decide to go explore Pitillal in the rest of this week or in the coming days, you may want to consider a different mode of transportation or just walking around. Last but not least, before we head into the weather, September is Testament Month in Mexico. Traditionally, the government makes deals with notary offices to make sure that being able to obtain and process a will and testament is affordable, and you can do it for 2,500 pesos. I think testaments are important, and more importantly is, I think, and this is more of a personal reflection, dying is complicated as it is, but when people have to go through your belongings and stuff after you're gone, I always say to myself, and I haven't done it, I will be the first person to confess I haven't done it, but do you have a document at home should you all of a sudden cross the rainbow bridge that indicates your loved ones, the name of your account on the bank or your passwords for this, that, and the other? I'm sure that we don't all wake up in the morning thinking, oh, I'm going to die, so I might as well be prepared. But it could happen. So this is probably a good month to reflect on making sure that that we have helped those that survive us figure out things after we go. And I know that it's a little bit morbid to talk about it, but I think it is important. With that said, let us move on to the weather just to see what's going on out there. Okay, I'm not going to be able to relate to this one because I don't watch Breaking Bad, but Snarky Weather says, I can't wait for the next Breaking Bad spin-off about all the wacky old people at Hector Salamanca's nursing home. Have no idea what that relates to, but I can tell you that we are now enjoying 27 degrees Celsius. It feels like 31. Humidity is at 82%. And our temperature in Fahrenheit, for those of you that enjoy this numbering system, it is 81 degrees out there. Our weather forecast says rain and humidity today with a high of 29 and a low of 24. Tomorrow, rain until the evening with a high of 30, a low of 24. And then Thursday, possible light rain in the evening with a high of 32 and a low of 24. And this brings us, of course, to the rest of the broadcast. And I'm going to start with a little reminder. Yesterday, I told you that I was feeling a little bit sleepy or underslept because I stayed up the night before working on projects and sorting photographs and that, and the other. And one of the things that I forgot to share with you yesterday has to do with the fact that Sunday morning, it was raining. I woke up and it was raining in the morning. And there's nothing that I love more. Well, there's nothing that I love more than tacos al pastor and butterfingers. But if there's something I like a lot, is waking up on a day off and it's raining outside, and it just makes you want to cuddle all day long or snuggle and stay in bed. But of course, I had a few things to do. And then the weather cleared in the afternoon, and I was looking out the window in my bedroom, and I saw the gorgeous clouds and the blue sky. And, I may not have the most spectacular view in Puerto Vallarta, but this is what I saw. Just a quick and dirty time lapse. I figured I might as well document this and share it with the cluster. Let's see. We've done that. I also wanted to show you this photograph and ask you what's wrong with this picture. Yesterday, I asked you the same thing about a different photograph. This one is from June 2004, and it shows the construction in progress of the Rio Cuale pedestrian bridge. Before that bridge was constructed, there was no way to cross over the river unless the water was low and you wanted to just venture through the rocks. But it was in June 2004 that the construction was concluded. And I'm sharing this with you because, as I mentioned yesterday, I've been finding interesting photographs that I've taken. There are a lot of historic photographs of Puerto Vallarta out there, but I've been assembling some of the ones I've been taking for the last 20 years, and I'm going to share them with you in a members-only broadcast on Thursday at 5 p.m. Again, this is just a special broadcast that is available for members only here at Coffee and Headlines. So if you haven't pursued a membership, think about it. It's not a lot of money, and it helps ensure that we continue producing our broadcast moving forward. We are very grateful for those of you that have already pursued a membership, and we will be equally grateful for those of you who choose to pursue a membership moving forward. But of course, there's also a huge history in Puerto Vallarta to share. And yesterday, after the broadcast, I learned that 77 years ago yesterday, the priest that was in charge of the church of Guadalupe here in Puerto Vallarta was sent to jail. And he was sent to jail because World War II had just ended, and the local authorities, wanted to go into the church and ring the bells in solidarity. And the priest said, no, you cannot do that. So what happened? The priest was sent to jail. I also learned yesterday afternoon that 90 years ago, yesterday, the two lighthouses, well, one is a lighthouse and the other one is more of an indicator, were installed in Puerto Vallarta. The one that is right on the Malecon, which is standing there still, and the one that is up on Matamoros Street, which is now a nice vantage point to look at the bay. they were installed 90 years ago. Who knew? So there you go. I love these facts. If you love facts about Puerto Vallarta and old Puerto Vallarta in particularly, please write the word history. Yes, history in your comment, and I will continue to look for these wonderful facts that I come across from time to time. And this brings us to the first of the unrelated stories that I want to share with you today. Not too long ago, I had dinner at the home of some person that I know. And oh my gosh, look at all the interesting history. I love it. I love you guys. I love you guys. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. We have this in common, and this is a good thing. Okay, so not too long ago, I was having dinner at some dude's house, and I noticed that he had an old iPad showing a slideshow of photographs. And these were not photographs of his family and friends and kids. These were the rather sexy, and there I say, okay, let's cut to the chase. They were very, very erotic, very much so. And, I'm not afraid of erotic. In fact, I love erotic. And I myself have created a series of very sensual photographs in the past, and I continue to do that from time to time. In fact, when I lived in Boston, some of my income derived from photographic images that were shown in galleries, but we're not going to get into that right now. The bottom line is I was at this guy's house, and we all kept chuckling because we were having dinner, and we all kept being distracted by the screen, which kept showing all these things that were, distracting. And this guy says, well, do you want me to turn it off? And all of us that were at his house were like, no, 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 no. We like the visual. We like the visual. So that inspired me, actually. If you look behind me over there, see that screen? That screen is an old Mac that I have, and it's over 10 years old. It is really that old. And it was just sitting there, useful for very little or next to nothing because it is so, so, so slow. And I thought to myself, I might as well just repurpose that like this person did. So now this Mac that sits behind me is actually a photo display that I use for my own kinks. But yesterday, the YouTube minions were so kind to me because they gifted me with a great story about this painting. This is an 18th century French Rococo masterpiece titled The Swing by Fragonard, which, by the way, ended up being his greatest masterpiece. It was actually never intended for public consumption. And for that matter, it was about as erotic as it got at the time. So YouTube served me with this fabulous, very beautifully put together 8-minute long explanation of why this painting was racy, very, very, very racy, about a love affair between within a woman and her husband and her lover. And what I found compelling about the video is the fact that it was so nice. The storytelling was great. The storytelling was great. The elements of production were very basic. I'm always looking at these things because ultimately I am a storyteller in one way or another. I mean, you come here and join me because I tell stories and I tell news. So I invite you, I almost dare you to disconnect from everything and spend 8 minutes looking at this video, this very compelling video about this painting. And it's actually comforting to know that back in the 18th century, there were people that displayed kinky things on their walls, just as this person that I mentioned before now uses a repurposed iPad to show sexy photographs. The second unrelated story that I want to share has to do with influencers and content creators. I'm always looking at what other people are doing out there because the very talented content creators or influencers or bloggers call call us whatever you'd like. The very talented ones always inspire me, and the very infamous ones always remind me to stay honest and stay kind as I do the work that I do here at Coffee and Headlines. And there is this story circulating right now that is generating a lot of buzz in Spain concerning this gentleman named Borja Escalona. Now, you may recall that we had our own, one of our infamous bloggers in town, not in town, in Guadalajara, the one with a funny name, the one that dared stop traffic at one of the, what was his name? Fofo, the one who stopped traffic in one of the busiest throughways in the city of Guadalajara just to show off his cars and do a little dance. He was ultimately fined by the city of Guadalajara. He had to do community work. But this guy, Borja Escalona, is known in Spain for being rather infamous and entitled with his blogging. And apparently he finally got what he deserved. He was visiting a city in Spain, not Madrid, but he was in a small town called Vigo. And there is a small eatery there where he walked in. And apparently he was broadcasting live to his channel. And he was, let me cough for a second. He was broadcasting live on his channel, bragging about how he was walking in from one business to another, trying to get freebies and getting away with it. And he has the reputation of getting into construction sites and places where he's not allowed to. And apparently a lot of people don't like that behavior. Well, he was broadcasting live, and he entered this small eatery called Atapa do Barril in Vigo, where they serve empanadas. And these empanadas are something like 45 pesos each, or the equivalent in euros. So there was only one left, and he was like, oh, it's the vegetarian one. I guess I'm going to have it. And according to him, he had joked with a waitress about how he only ate free food. And he went, ha, 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 he, he. Well, he eats the empanada, and he is getting ready to leave, and the waitress says to him, well, you haven't paid for this. and he's like, what do you mean pay? I always eat for free. I only eat for free. And the influencer says, the waitress says, well, no, it's 40 something pesos. And he's like, well, you can send me a bill for 40 something pesos, but my company is going to send you a bill for 50,000 pesos, or the equivalent in euros, for all the free promotion that I just gave you. And he went on to belittle, oh, that's a tough one. I'd never said that word before. Belittle? Diminish the waitress in a horrible way. And then, of course, the restaurant, which is 50-year-old eatery, that is run by a woman named Ana Tarsado. She's followed the tradition of the business from her parents, who founded it 50 years ago. All of a sudden started getting all this hate mail, and they didn't understand why. So she, the owner, talked to her social media person, and she says, what do we do? And the social media person said, we explain things from our perspective. That's what we do. So the owner sent out a public apology through their Instagram channel, and said exactly what had happened. The waitress behaved as a professional waitress should. And the owner said, we've been around for 50 years, and our reputation precedes us. Well, things backfired horribly for the wait, hold on just a second. I just messed up my presentation. Things backfired horribly for the influencer because he got even more hate mail. His YouTube channel disappeared. He is, according to him, he cannot now leave his house because he's under threat. He went to the gym. They canceled his membership. He tried to eat at a restaurant. The restaurant didn't let him in. And things have just turned horrible for this influencer. And there are a lot of stories about this right now on social media. And this this is very important to me because it, again, as I said before, it keeps me in check. It is serves as a reminder of how we choose to do things here at Coffee and Headlines, how we have some guidelines in place that have to do with advertising or no advertising, how we have some guidelines in place that have to do with kindness or unkindness as we um, get along with one another. But even more personally, it has a lot to do with reminding me of how to behave when I'm out and about. Um, and I'm not a saint either, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that these things are important to me because it is ultimately all of us, or all of you in this case, that have the power to make or break a business. When the owners of the restaurants were interviewed by a news television the television news program, they said, I mean, this happened to us, and it was okay because we've been around for 50 years. We have our reputation. But if this had happened to an eatery that has just opened, say, a year or two ago, influencers can be evil and can totally destroy a business. And we would never want to be associated with anything of that nature. The end. I just thought you would find it interesting. I think it's this happens. And I've seen it happen here in Puerto Vallarta. I've seen influencers of one kind or another, whether they were content creators or whether they were salespeople for magazines. And I'm not going to drop any names or anything, but I have seen or heard of intimidating behavior. So if you're a business owner, know what is best for you when it comes to advertising or promoting your business. If you are a consumer like you and I, please know that our comments can be very constructive, but they can also be very, very destructive. And that's the end of our content today. Speaking of content creation, let's take a quick look at your comments this morning. I love reading through your good mornings from all over the place. And I'm going to say hello to Jill and say, Jill, I have the other day, and I owe you an apology, and I owe everyone an apology, because the other day I thought to myself, we were going to interview Jill because she adopted some folks from Ukraine, and we never did. And I want to apologize for that, and I want to let you know that I'm still curious about what went on there. So maybe we can connect and close that circle at some point. I would like that very much. More good mornings. Spencer is chiming in from Denver, Colorado. Let's see what else we have. Tommy says hello. I love it. Let's see. Doody doody da 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 da. Patty says there's loud construction next door. I was concerned earlier today because there's a university or a school. There's a cooking school not too far away from here, and they have these open houses from time to time, and they were playing loud music, and I was hoping it wouldn't get into this broadcast, but they have stopped since then. Ooh, how fun. Ramona went to see Lady Gaga. I love it. Let's see. Oh, good luck. Fingers crossed for Den and Kathy. Um, they have their interview for permanent residency at the Mexican consulate today. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Please keep us posted. How about that downpour last night? That was just heavenly. I don't know what neighborhood you're in, Patty, but out here in La Vena near Versalles, it was absolutely yummy. It really was. Make your will. You never find out other quality of people and the greed till money is involved when you're involved in a will. Wills are important, but also important to me personally, and I need to do more research about this, is this whole business of next of kin in Mexico, because as I understand it, even before the will comes into place, a person that is your next of kin has to come and identify who you are. So even if you make provisions in your will, and I could be wrong. Again, this is what a friend told me. I'm not saying that this is a fact, but a friend told me that he and his partner got married. They're gay because his partner is distanced from his family, and should he ever pass on, he would have no relatives or very distant relatives that would have to identify his body and all that stuff even before the will comes into place. So I'm going to look into this because I'm sure I'm not the only single gay man that is distanced from his family by choice or by fate. Um, that, if something would happen to me tomorrow, I don't know, that my sister or my brothers, well, anyhow, I don't want to talk about my personal life because it's irrelevant, but just make sure that you are well taken care of, and plan for the future. I think it's important. There you go. Let's see. Sherry says, wow, never thought about getting to the other side from the Malecon without the bridge. Well, again, Thursday afternoon, we'll have a bunch of interesting photographs during this members only broadcast. And Brian says, yay, love the members only broadcasts. The last few ones that we've made have been a lot of fun because I've invited some of you to come onto the broadcast next to me, remotely, of course, and tell us a little bit about yourselves. And it's been a fun way to get to know cluster members, particularly those of you that are not in Puerto Vallarta. Suggestion to you, Paco, have an artist friend paint a continued scene onto white wall, the scene connection of left and right landscape. Just a thought. Oh, you mean on that building? Oh, that would be funny. That would be funny. Actually, I took a photo yesterday. I forgot to put it as part of the program because the government has empowered a representative from the Casa de Cultura to look for mural artists to go around the city and paint all those walls, that the public walls that still have political propaganda from the last campaign, the mayoral campaign. And they were doing work right on the corner of my house. And I thought it was awesome because we have some walls that can definitely use some love. And I will put that photograph on the broadcast tomorrow, share it with you guys. Then I'm looking at all your wonderful comments about history. I will let you know that I'm working on one of my pet projects and side projects, but actually a project involving Coffee and Headlines is I'm building a big chronology of Puerto Vallarta history so that we can get as many factoids as the ones just shared together as possible, and maybe even do like a special lecture about the history of Puerto Vallarta. So I am so grateful and gratified to read that so many of you are interested in history. I love it. Karen says that dude would be Lord something if he was in Mexico. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And yes, he is a total jerk. I've been reading about all the bad karma that is heading his way. And it is bad karma. Let's see what else we have. Are you planning a meet and greet in October? I'll be there for the month, and meeting you, Paco, is on my wish list. Kimberly, we are planning a meet and greet in November, not in October. We've committed to that, and that's what's going to happen. But hopefully our paths will cross. Let's see what else we have. Pam Thompson Webb gives very informative end-of-life free seminars. This is good to know. Paco, can you go over how to become a member? Piece of cake, Gina. Every day that we broadcast, we show this little... oh my God, my nose is so itchy today. Ooh. And I don't do powders of any kind. Anyhow, every day that we broadcast, we show this link up here. Buymeacoffee.com is a wonderful website that empowers thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals like myself that create content, create paintings, create uh, jokes, illustrations, music, etc., and it empowers us by allowing us to put our stuff out there, and then you can buy coffees in appreciation, or if you are really committed to the particular creators offer different kinds of perks, memberships, etc. So we love Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee is similar to Patreon. That Patreon is another platform that offers payments for independent creators like myself. I went with Buy Me a Coffee because of the flexibility of doing different things that you've seen in motion, like special content for members or private broadcasts or this, that, and the other. So the short of it is, how do you become a a Coffee and Headlines member? You go to buymeacoffee.com/Ojeda Paco, where you will see the choice of buying me a coffee. I think they still cost $3, but maybe after 2 years, it's time to bump them up. You can just buy a coffee that makes you a supporter. Or if you are really committed to the content, you can become a member, a monthly or annual member of Coffee and Headlines. And I don't think that's expensive. I think it's $40 a year or $30 if you pay in advance. I forget the exact numbers. But once you become a member, you do your little share to make sure that Luna and I can continue to bring content to you on a regular basis. And that is how you become a member to Coffee and Headlines. Somewhere, and I'm sure I missed it, somebody asked, where is the link to the private broadcast? And that is a great question. To be able to access the members only broadcast, I published the link on Buy Me a Coffee. The link gets to your inbox through your email if you are a member. And once you click on that link, you can then enjoy the private broadcast. And that's the way it works. Sheila asks, is the annual membership still available? Because maybe I am missing something, but I do not see the option on your website. Let us go into Buy Me a Coffee together, and I'll show you how that works. Since you asked, let's see. Let me bring it up on my screen first. buymeacoffee.com/ and I'm not logged in, so I'm going to walk in as a regular person. I've gone into Buy Me a Coffee just as a regular human being, and I think, yes, there we are. So this is buymeacoffee.com. As you can see, it has an extra that we had that is no longer in place. This is what we used to get funds for the new computer, which you so kindly made happen. Thank you very much. But here is a button that lets you choose. If you want to support, you can buy as many coffees as you want, and that would be a $3 coffee. You could, if you were a content creator, let's assume that you're creating content and you want to implement this type of platform for your paintings or whatever you're making, you can have people buy you a beer, buy you a glass of wine. You can choose whatever it is. You can set the amount, and people can choose to buy you as many coffees and as frequently as they choose to buy you. This makes you a contributor. If you click on membership, it says membership is $4 per month. But if you click on join, then you get a choice to $4 per month or $30 per year. And that is how Buy Me a Coffee works for anyone and how it works for me. So let's assume that now you've purchased a membership. The same email address that you use to become part of this platform is the email address that you subsequently use to log in when you want to see the goodies that I send you if you're a member or a contributor. So it is a great platform. They take a percentage, of course. That's what keeps the platform working. But I am in constant contact with the developer. He's a super, super nice guy. And again, Buy Me a Coffee is a great way for people, independent creators like myself, to be recognized and to get income from the work that we do. It is thanks to Buy Me a Coffee that that I'm here, because a good 95, 98% of my income nowadays, comes from you through Buy Me a Coffee. And we're always, always grateful for that. And don't ever let me forget that, please. So now that we've made that explanation, I hope if you're a creator that you'll empower yourself with Buy Me a Coffee. If you want comments or suggestions or want to know more about it, how it works, please feel free to drop me a line. And that's it. This is what we had for today. Thank you very much for joining us for another Coffee and Headlines. And I will see you again tomorrow morning as usual.